Broadcasting live from sunny South Florida, and the best way to start your Saturday. This is KMA Talk Radio. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of fine cigars. And now your KMA crew. The man with the scoop, William Cooper. Alex the Goat Tavella. And always telling it like it is, Honest Abe Dababneh.
I like to smoke them like the Winston Churchill, like John Kennedy, yeah. Remember Coach Red Auerbach, smoked up for victory, yeah. Well, you can take my wife, you can take my car, but you can't take my big cigar. My cigar.
Good morning to all our loyal listeners, libertarians, and lovers of a leaf. Honest Abe here, and we are broadcasting live, KMA episode number 582. And as always, I am here with my trusted gang, the man they call the GOAT, Alex Tavella, and our man bringing you news, rumor, and teaser free all the time, William the Scoop Cooper. And guest hosting today on KMA Talk Radio is our dear friend from the north, the man, the Mountie, the surgeon, John McTavish.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. How's everybody doing?
We're alive.
Oh, it's doing great.
Calm before the storm, right? Everyone's, some people are still working before the next sort of stretch of holidays, but
True.
A lot of people are taking time off.
Yep.
What's the storm?
Oh, everyone takes holidays, right? Because next week,
4th of July on a Friday too. You know.
Yeah.
They'll start taking off Wednesday. It means.
Yeah, I was just gonna say people stop working Tuesday and then they take off Wednesday.
Listen, I got two major people who are out of town next week. Let me tell you something. The shit show started last night. We had our first smoke-in boycott.
Oh, really? Smoking boycott.
Bro,
What I miss? What I miss? I'm surprised I
the
didn't get a
shit
call.
started hitting the fan last night. I swear to God. So
Why?
I'm on the way to that family function I was telling you about. And
Right.
I get a call from Mox. I'm like, fuck. I go, fuck, as soon as I see, because if Mox is calling me after hours or something.
And she knows we're heading somewhere. Yeah, she don't.
Yeah, but she would text me always.
That's what I'm saying. She don't usually.
It's an emergency.
Shit hit the fan. So we've had a situation with our PSL location with some neighbor complaining about smoke and shit like that.
Oh, that's fun.
And to
Yeah.
kind of help the situation, he asked us to remove our tables outside, not let outside smoking. So, not an unreasonable request. And being that's fucking summer in Florida, I didn't think it's that big of a deal. Who the fuck wants to be outside smoking right now? Unless you're doing a radio show, that's the only place you could smoke. So I get a call from Moxie saying that, and this is a relatively new employee we had in this location, saying that somebody walked into our clerk there, said, "Hey, where are all the tables and chairs?" She goes, yeah, we had to stop allowing people to smoke outside. The landlord, there's some issues in the center. Guy doesn't buy a cigar, goes home, comes back with a lawn chair with two of his friends, and they camp outside, start smoking.
All right.
Well, at least he's loyal.
Yeah, well, he didn't buy a fucking cigar, bro.
Well, he didn't buy a cigar. That's true. Yeah.
Right.
That's
Oh, you didn't provide him a place to sit either, so he said, "Hell with it. I'm bringing my own cigar."
I call up the landlord, because I don't want a problem with the landlord. So far, he's been on my side to the whole thing. Last thing I want to do is alienate the guy. I say, "Hey, look, we got a situation. There's 3 guys who are camped outside on their own lawn chairs who didn't even purchase anything from us and smoking cigars." Because she asked them to leave.
Oh.
Yeah, and they wouldn't go. Sandra, the new employee in Port St. Lucie, she asked them to leave. So, as long as story short, he starts asking me a lot of questions. I don't know if you want to call the cops, loitering, or what do you want to do? The guy told her it's public property, which is not.
You're talking to
the landlord.
You're talking to the
landlord now. Yeah.
She's talking.
Yeah, if it's a shopping center, it's not.
It's not. It's not
trespass.
But I'm not going to call the cops on him. It's not my fucking thing. I'm just giving the landlord a proper heads up.
You're giving him a courtesy call. Yeah.
Let him handle it how the fuck he wants.
Right.
So he starts asking me questions. I don't know the answers because I haven't talked to her yet. I've only talked with Mox. So I'm like, all right, let me get her on the line. So he starts asking her questions. And she goes, and she says, yeah, when he came in and we told him, he's like, was that Abe's rule or was that really the landlord's rule? I'm like, oh, so this guy knows me because she didn't recognize who they were, so I wasn't sure if they're regulars or not. I said, are you on the cordless or are you on a landline? She said, I'm on the landline. I said, listen, hang up. I'm going to call you back on the cordless. I want you to walk and hand him the phone. So, I call back the store. I can hear her walking outside. She must have gestured the phone because I hear the guy go, well, who's that? She goes, well, it's Abe. It's like to talk to you. He goes, there's like a pause. He goes, tell him we're sorry. We're leaving. He folds up the chair. I do. I want to push the issue. I'm like, no. Ask him right now. Are you sure he doesn't want to talk to me? It's like, Abe, he's already gone. They got their chairs. They're around the corner. They're gone. I'm like, all right, solve that fucking problem.
You don't know.
People don't understand. If you haven't run a retail shop before, you got to be on the good side of your landlord, your leaseholder.
Right.
If you have a good relationship with them, you do not want to mess with that because it is so hard to get a good relationship with the leaseholder.
Especially when you have cigar shops, man, because you're almost
nobody wants anyway, right?
You're almost everybody's enemy in the shopping center.
100%. Yeah, you're target number one. And the hilarious thing was when I was running shops, they'd be like, well, there's a complaint about smoke. And I'm like, bro, nobody's smoking. They're like, it's 10 o'clock in the morning and we can't smoke in the shop. Nobody's smoking. So I don't know what they're smelling, but like you would get these phantom complaints all the time. So you just got to stay on the good side of the lease guy.
Yep.
That's every kind of weird business. I was involved in a CrossFit gym for a while and we were on the bottom floor of a apartment complex. And, I guess in CrossFit, they slam the weights down a lot, in CrossFit. Of course. So we were getting complaints, like I'm telling you, because I guess just vibrations travel, like from fucking the 8th floor, 10th floor. They're hearing the slamming. I don't know. It could be possible. But, I actually went up there with an elevator that could test sound.
Yep.
And I was on the phone. I started slamming and I couldn't pick it up. And I didn't say anything. What are you going to do? And then the landlord forwarded us a bunch of emails of all these people complaining. And if you know CrossFit's not like open all the time. It has like 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock class. They take a break. Yeah. It was during the time that no one's in the fucking gym. What the fuck are you hearing? So here's what happens. Any fucking sound they hear anywhere. Yep. It could be somebody dropped something.
They attribute it to the gym.
It's a CrossFit fucking gym.
Yeah.
Dogs barking. It's a CrossFit gym.
Yeah. Dogs barking, CrossFit gym. Jehovah's Witness knocking at the door, CrossFit gym.
Right. Well, my favorite, I remember the one time in West Palm, the nail salon, which is actually 2 doors down, which is sandwiched between our own barbershop. So we know we're not getting complaints on the barbershop. And the nail salon, where they're all wearing masks and sucking in acetone all day, tried to complain about smoke 3 doors down.
See, you know what's funny about that, Alex? I think back in like 50% of the locations I managed had a nail salon, like either next door or 2 doors down. I don't know why that is. Like, are nail salons so popular that they outnumber liquor stores?
They are everywhere.
Yep.
It's crazy.
They really are.
Everywhere. They really are.
Yep. But it always seems like next to a cigar store, there's like a urgent care center, a daycare, a nail salon. It's always the case.
I've had an urgent care. I've had a daycare. I've had Planned Parenthood. I had a Starbucks.
Sounds like a new bingo game.
Wow.
That's funny. I can name the weird neighbors we've had over the years. Wow. But yeah.
And always like a Vietnamese place or a little Chinese place in the corner.
The thing
which we have both a Vietnamese place and a Chinese place in West.
See, there you go.
We actually do, yeah. My favorite was Planned Parenthood, though, when that was right next door.
Oh boy,
that was interesting.
I'm sure.
I'll bet.
I'm sure.
All right, what are you gents smoking this morning? All our KMA fans out there, tell us what you're smoking this morning. I'll start it off because I'm just happy to be outside smoking now. So I got a Blue Eyed Jack's Revenge.
Nice.
That's
great cigar.
Yeah. I haven't had a chance to try the Maduro because they came in and were gone and didn't really see them. But yeah, I'm smoking one of the originals. How about you guys?
I'm smoking the usual Bellas Artis. I was smoking before the show, but I do plan on lighting up at some point during the show. I'm a little excited. The Aging Room Concerto in this Figurado style.
There you go.
Really good.
I like this cigar. I've really liked this cigar on the Toro, so I'm excited to fire this up.
Yep.
This is a good cigar.
I didn't realize till recently you're kind of pretty much a hardcore AJ fan.
I'm a big AJ guy.
Yeah.
Listen, bang for buck, it's hard to beat, AJ.
Price.
Although I heard that Rob smoked that New World Diseño. I heard it's a power bomb.
I think it just dropped yesterday.
Yeah, he said he smoked
yesterday.
A couple guys said that is a power bomb, that cigar. So that should be interesting.
Cooper?
I am smoking a top 5 cigar from Coop last year. It is the Christoph Tres Compadres. Love this cigar.
I know that guy, Coop.
Don't why you gotta give him
don't even do that.
Listen, I'm trying to help him. I know he's trying to get that job, show his company loyalty.
I'm so shocked. Number 3. That's so unusual.
I'm so shocked of the brand.
We were talking in the industry chat about Cigar Graveyard this morning, and that prompted me to pull something up from the way back, which is the original Dissident Soapbox Lancero. I mean that goes so far back. Coop, we were figuring 2011, 2012, something like that.
Yeah, I mean that goes back to when the 2 dissident guys out in Kansas.
Ryan and
Gordon, great guys too.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
So interesting.
Yeah,
that's funny. Quentin's the Slayer today, huh? I wonder what the occasion is. Quentin Thor slaying a unicorn.
Is he?
Yeah.
Nice.
Slaying.
And Ben's a man after my own heart. He's lighting up the Warhead Independence Day. See, that's a great breakfast cigar.
Oh no! Are you? When I kicked you, you're banned for life now. That's funny. I booted. Well, don't fuck around, Alan, because this is your last account, I guess.
This is it.
I just thought you kick him off for that one show. I didn't know he's booted for life.
The comments.
You might have hit ban, not boot.
No, hold on. Let me see.
You know what are you gonna do? Finger slips.
Ban. Well, there is no. Yeah, it's ban users and delete their comments. Yeah, there is no boot. I guess it's a ban. It's a lifetime ban. I don't even know how to undo it.
Hashtag find out.
See you later. One down, one to go. That's how I see
it. Oh man! All right, somebody help me with the acronyms.
Yeah, that's fuck around, find out.
Oh, yeah.
So the hashtag find out.
I don't know if that's Matt or Raul from the ad account either. So it's how about that cigar account?
Raul.
Got to roll those R's, baby.
Got a lot of people smoking good shit today.
Yeah.
McAuliffe Blue. Wonder if it's the box press.
Do you guys get a lot of opportunity?
They just landed. It just went up online. Our new exclusives in their color series. We got the box press blue and the box press red now available. So now we have a box press Toro in a black, blue, and red. Purple.
I'm trying to remember who doesn't like the box press. Coop, you like box presses, right?
It depends on the blend. It depends on the blend.
But I mean, like the physical shape of it. I know there's people who just don't like that box press. They don't find it comfortable.
I'm actually fine with it. I'm actually fine with it. And that box press is unique. It's not. It's kind of an oval press, but it's not like the oval presses we've seen because it's very flat on the top, and it's very rounded on the sides. So it's kind of unique, those box presses.
They're also a little bigger too. Like the Toro, I think, is a 6. These are about a 6.5. They're a little bit bigger too.
Yeah, they're a little longer. Yeah.
I really can't understand how a box press would be so turned off into a guy. I mean, you really can't.
Everyone's got their thing.
I know, it's so weird.
I mean, your mouth isn't round shape. I mean, when you smoke, you're not going like this the whole time. So it just seems natural to me. The box press feels very comfortable, but lots of guys don't like it.
I like a box press.
Yeah, a lot of times it will elevate the blend, and a lot of times it won't, is what I've seen.
Yeah, I like a box press. Maybe it's just me personally, but I find I seldom ever get a bad draw from a box press.
Well, yeah, because I mean, by the nature of box press, right, you got to pull some tobacco out, otherwise it's not going to draw. So I think in making that shape, you're spending a little bit extra time making sure it has to draw because just the nature of box pressing it. So it makes sense. I think you're more likely to get a good draw on a box press than a non-box press.
That's just my personal experience.
Plus, for me, a box press makes bigger ring gauges more approachable. Like a 60 in a box press is much more approachable than a 60.
It's like a 50. I mean, it's like smoking a Toro, honestly.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So So I want to say something about John, because John's like one of the more unique guys who's reviewing cigars this way. John actually has a drawer test machine right now.
That's right.
That he is actually drawer testing cigars on right now.
It got forced on me, and I appreciate the gift. But I was like, you know what? Sure, I'm a nerd data analytic guy. I will draw test every cigar. It's good, but it's also bad because now I have to go, look, I'm sorry, but it's not just me. It's not just me being picky about the draw. If you got a 90-inch of water draw machine, I mean, I send that to Nick Perdomo. Nick would be like, that's unacceptable. 90 inches of water? That's crazy.
So Gary, that's not really a box press cigar. That's called the Waif.
I was going to put that was a favorite of your mentor, Abe, right? The Waif.
Well, no. That picture that he smoked is right when it came out, and he was just intrigued by it. But that's not a box press. That's called the Waif, and probably may go down as one of the most worthless patents in the history of all patenting.
No one copied it.
No one really cared to copy it.
No, but it sells well.
They actually patented that size.
I didn't know that.
Oh, there goes the doorbell. Hush up. So I got to bring something up. I'm almost hesitant to bring it up, but I was sincerely shocked because there's certain things that humanity just doesn't like, and we don't talk about it, and there's just an assumption that it's a given, and I don't know how Kevin Shavenhand brought it up, but I was actually utterly surprised at the comments. Did anyone see his post this week about going to the bathroom?
Love Kevin, but I'm glad I missed that post.
Yeah, I was like, I missed that one.
Listen, at first, I thought it was a funny question, but then I started reading the comments. I'm like, what the fuck? So the question was, when you go to do number 2, do you wipe standing up or sitting down? Now, I'm not going to say anything because I'm just curious, but would any of you three like to comment on that?
Absolutely, positively not.
I mean,
absolutely. I'm not even going.
I mean, it's just, do you sit or stand? That's all. I'm curious.
I sit.
Who the fuck stands? I mean, like, I wasn't utterly shocked, but there's these proposals. Why would you sit? I'm like, what are you talking about? So there's actually people who stand up.
And I
was really flabbergasted and blown away by this.
I don't know how to say this any other way, but I feel like the more you stand, the more it kind of closes the hole.
Yeah, you tighten up.
Right?
And listen, not even that, but why would you move your ass any further away from the bowl, right? I mean, last thing you need is a rogue dingleberry falling in your fucking underwear. I mean, listen to me, I don't know how people do it, but there's really only one way. There's really only one way to do this, right? You do the lean, you wipe, right? And you wipe fucking front to back, and you do it with wet wipes or baby wipes or dude wipes, whatever the fuck you got. Because
or get a bidet or one of those fancy toilet things, and then
that's what I said, because dry paper, all that does is fucking smear. It doesn't fucking clean, and that's why most of the fucking Eastern world uses bidets, right? But that's kind of it. But I was shocked at how many people were commenting. They stand and they were like, "How could you sit?" And I was just 53 years old. And I'm flabbergasted. Something I never fucking even think.
Pants down to your ankle. I mean, I'd be worried about caving over forward and cracking my head off the edge of the sink.
I just want to know their parents when they're potty training their kids. They see these kids standing up. Like, what are you doing? I don't know. Just
whatever works.
Listen, I was in shock.
It is an interesting question he asked.
And the only reason why I was hesitant,
I'm looking at this now.
I say you might stand, because I was shocked there was people saying who sits.
Yeah,
who sits?
That's who stands.
And who does fucking back to front?
Back to front. No, that's like, teach that when you're a kid.
That's just it, right? I think we're talking about bad parental.
You don't bring the poop towards you. Bring the poop away from you.
I don't know.
This is KMA Morning Talk,
bro. I'm telling you, I was shocked.
Yeah.
Flabbergasted.
I would never even consider that. I wouldn't even consider it.
It's not even a conversation. It's not even a topic.
Hey, listen, I'm left-handed, slight lean to the right. You're right-handed, probably slightly lean to the left.
You want to hear something funny?
What?
I wipe with my left hand.
You wipe with your left? Yeah,
I
slightly.
just realized that when you said that.
Now, is that because it's a cultural thing, the way you were raised? Because
is it the proximity of where the toilet paper is? Is it toilet
probably
paper?
the proximity of where the toilet paper is.
Oh, because you got it mounted on the left instead of the right.
Yeah, I mean, it just seems stupid to rip it off with my left and put it. I mean, I'm just thinking about this. I never thought about it as a kid, but to rip it off and then move it to my right hand, and then typically, because I'm a big guy, so I'm thinking this might have had something to do with it too, right? I'm near proximity to the wall in the average person. There's not much of a lean toward the wall. So
me too, right. In the toilet.
I'm always leaning away from the wall. Yeah. So
man, we took a left.
We took a left.
Oh boy.
But Kevin's good for that.
It had to be done. It was just
there you go. There's the next question. Dominant hand or non-dominant hand? There you go. There's the
dominant hand. Dominant hand. I go with
dominant
the left.
Hand. Left hand, not good for much.
I think it's more important to say, does anybody really do it with the right?
Yeah.
I don't know why a right-hander wouldn't, especially if it's on the right-hand side.
I'm just not that extras with my left hand.
Actually, in West Palm, the paper is on the right-hand side. Yeah, I don't know why. I just do.
Yeah, in West Palm, the paper's on the right-hand side.
Yeah, I just do it on my left. I wipe with my left hand. I lean right. Yeah, strange.
But even West Palm, it's right there. You can get it with your left hand.
Yeah. Listen, man, it was a controversial topic in my life this week.
Interesting. I did not see that. I missed that one. Stand up.
Yeah,
we just got it in living color, so there you go.
Very interesting.
Oh, Kevin's always good for a strange and odd.
Got to give him credit for having the guts to ask a question like that.
Oh, he asks any question.
Yeah, Kevin, he does. You got to give him credit on that. Yeah,
especially if it's bathroom related.
So, if you're just watching, we are coming on to the last days of the first month of Summer of Soccer. So, any of our fans out there, you got what's June? 30 days? 30, 31, July?
30 days, 30. September, April, June, and November.
You got today, tomorrow, and Monday. That's it. Then June is over. So, I think Alex and I will be doing the drawing. What is it, Tuesday?
Tuesday, yes.
Tuesday. Yes. We're giving away 10 prizes to anybody who placed orders in June. The grand prize being the first watch, the Accutron.
Oh, sweet.
Oh, let me tell you something. I was really surprised that I had gotten such a known company to make Dunbarton branded watches. They took their astronaut series and they actually put a Dunbarton logo on it. So we'll be giving away the first one, which is a green-faced one, and that'll be given away this Tuesday. I think it's 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So somebody's winning the first watch in a couple days.
I heard your commentary on that Steve was harder to work with than the watch brand because Steve was so particular about the logo. And honestly, I can't say I'm surprised by that in the slightest.
No,
that is so
I'm
Steve.
not even kidding. Like their first rendition they sent back to me. I'm like, this is awesome. Right? You see it and you're all excited. And I sent it to Steve. He's like, nah. What?
Nah, the logo's it's too prominent. I don't like it.
Yeah, so listen.
What he said, the logo's too prominent.
That's the problem. You're dealing with a double whammy Steve here. You're dealing with a Steve and his logo, his brand, and you're also dealing with Steve, the watch nerd, who's particular about.
He's a serious watch nerd. I mean, I know people
Steve's a serious watch. Steve's a serious
people rag on him when he posts watch. Like he's not an Instagram watch guy. He is a serious watch guy. We've had long watch conversations before.
We had an event on Friday where a guy was selling watches. He had a bunch of watches, nice watches actually.
Yeah, I missed that. I know.
And I was looking at one, but I don't know. They're skinny. It was a nice watch. So I literally sent him a picture. I'm like, I got this guy down to this. Is it worth it? And he said, give me 2 minutes. I came back, give me the whole skinny on the watch. He said, yeah, it's a good deal.
Did you get it?
Yeah.
What was
it? IWC.
Oh yeah,
I love IWC.
Yeah, good clean face. Easy to read.
Pro Pilot, probably
onion ring dial. Nice watch.
Yep.
And I like it. It's older one.
Can you send me a text?
I like the onion ring dial. Yeah, the
onion ring dial. But I really, believe it or not, hooked me on it was the band. Because it was like a vintage rustic band. It was Buffalo. They don't make it anymore. And it had like rivets in it. It looked really cool. So it just looked like a watch your grandfather gave you. It's just it was really nice looking watch.
Do you guys like I mean, I don't know how you guys wear smartwatches, but if you do wear a non-smartwatch, do you wear like a metal band, or you wear like a fabric / like a leather type band?
So I, for many years, have only been prone to metal bands because there's never been a rubber or a leather band that would fit me. Now in my lighter days, I have now 2 leather band watches, 2 rubber band. I mean my Breitlings. I guess it's rubber or whatever they call it, but my Breitling watches have like a rubber band. But I don't mind them. I think different occasions warrant different style looking band. And then I have a watch that has both. It came with links and it has a nice little band you can switch out if you want to more casualize the watch.
Yeah, I go both ways too. I'm a watch nerd as well, but it depends on the watch. I have some like beautiful Grand Seikos that are, they're clearly leather band watches, and then more like your dive watch, things like that. I like to keep.
It's got to,
you can swatch with the rubber, but I like them on the metal band, like a nice metal dive watch. And it's interesting because people think like dive watch, especially if it's a Rolex, like fancy, but like these watches are literally made to be worn over top of a wetsuit. They're tool watches, even though they look nice. Evan Darnell does have a 60% chance of winning something.
I don't know. I just had to talk with somebody else. I don't know how they're figuring out probability, but it's impossible to have a 60% chance of winning.
No, it's too many people.
But somebody else debated me this, and then I'm like, look, bro, I didn't even fucking finish college. I could just tell you that's not how probability works. But I don't know how they're figuring out these possibilities. I really, really don't.
Yeah, I mean, most people are just unless you get really deep into probability and statistics, human beings in general way overestimate probability. And when you start to dig into it, you realize, if you start to understand probability, I only do it because of my job. I was terrible at math in school, and the only reason I'm good at math is money math. Money math makes sense to me, like when you talk, like when I was working retail, and money math just makes sense to me. But you'd ask somebody a probability question, and they're out by a factor of 10 usually. So,
right, and that's the thing. They don't even, like Quentin said, nobody even you don't even have the data to do that kind of math.
So what's funny is, I got to hand it to Evan Darnell. So I went shopping in his walk-in closet because he lost a lot of weight. You did. I got a lot of his old clothes. So I have to tell you, Evan, I've worn now your shirts 2 or 3 times at the shop, and I ain't gonna lie. Every time I walk in, everybody says, "Wow, that's a nice shirt. So you got some taste there." Nice. And it's funny. It's funny. What I say is, "Oh, it's a Darnell." They think I'm talking about some fashion brand. Yes.
Very exclusive.
I'm wearing my Darnell this morning. In fact, I think one of the shirts I got actually has Evan Darnell on, like he had sewn on the inside of the bottom seam of the button-down shirt.
That is fancy.
Fancy pants.
He lost a lot of weight too, that guy, man. He's looking good. He's strong as an ox, too.
Good for you guys.
Yep.
Look, I talk to Coop about this all the time in our chat. I say, I don't want to make anybody feel bad about being larger. I just want people to be around for longer. You know what I mean? So if you can lose some weight and extends your lifespan and I don't have to attend your funeral, I'm all for it.
And here's, outside of shit happening, it's not even an if. If you lose some weight, you're going to extend your lifespan. It's just
no question.
Period. Outside of some shit happening that's outside of, if you lose weight, you got much better chances of extending your lifespan. First and foremost, before.
Plus, nobody loses 50 pounds and says, I feel like crap now. Right, everyone who loses 50 pounds is like, oh my God, I feel so much better. My knees don't hurt.
But you want to hear an interesting fact? Because I've had the unfortunate experience of losing like 100 pounds, multiple, at least 3 times in the course of my life, and then 50 pounds many, many times. I'll tell you something that do funny though. When you do lose a lot of weight like that, and it's not so much at 50, but definitely when you break 50 and you like hit the 70 or more, your body gets fucked up.
Initially, yeah.
You get a lot of aches and pains because now your whole posture is different. When you go to bed, the way your body lies down is different. And you start having a lot of aches and pains because it takes a while for your body to get used to, believe it or not, a lot of new positionings. And, it's a little bit painful if you drop, especially if you do it quickly. Like this time around, honestly, I did it really slowly. I didn't like Alex knows I've gone like, camps for like 2 or 3 weeks, dropped like 30, 40 pounds. And this has been a real slow process. So it really wasn't as bad. But if you do it quickly, man, your body gets a lot of aches and pains just out of posture.
Did you find, Abe, that sort of out of nowhere, you like foods you normally eat on the regular, all of a sudden you can't really tolerate? You know what I mean? Like fast food or something like that?
You know what? I'm going to tell you something because I ate a lot of fast food growing up. I'm trying to determine the moment, and I'm really kind of having a hard time, but I'm going to think it probably has something to do when I started having kids. It may have been earlier, but then it probably became like a real rule when I had kids. I just got turned off of all garbage food. I just got to the point where if I was going to put something in my mouth, I just wanted it to be worthy of eating. So like my kids, my wife and I have never taken them to McDonald's.
Wow.
Now, I think some of our relatives might have snuck them in there, but they don't go. They don't ask. They don't care to go. Yeah. We never let them go to restaurants and order the chicken fingers or the macaroni and cheese. When they were young, we preferred just to order a regular entree and make two of the young ones split it before I would have them get a chicken. Because my wife has a lot of her nephews or whatever. They'll come to our house and these kids won't eat nothing.
Yeah, of course.
You have nuggets.
It's got to be Katie or it's got to be chicken fingers.
No, bro, we got a meal. Eat your food. Yeah. And it's very shocking. So yeah, I mean, I just turned off of all fast foods. I mean, I would rather go hungry than now if I'm really, really wasted and whatever. I mean, but I can't tell you the last time I did it, but there were probably some points along the way where starving at 3 a.m, we went out, we had a lot of drinks, and maybe somebody grabbed some Taco Bell and I had a taco or something, but it's like I can't even tell you when that happened. I just don't eat that kind of food. Now I like good rich food, and that's just as fattening as some of the crap food is. But
you're not eating that on the regular.
As you get older, and you start learning more, and you start realizing, there is barely any beef in a Taco Bell taco, right? And you start learning
a lot of beans.
Yeah, and then your head starts playing, who the fuck knows what that really is I'm eating, right? So you start getting more leery and just stay away from shit that's not real food. I think when you're young, you don't give a shit.
Well, yeah, you don't have to give a shit.
You're like, fuck that. Yeah.
But also, too, especially when you start, trying to eat better and paying attention to what you eat, I think one of the things your brain gets to is, you start to realize more when you're full. I don't have to finish the plate. I'm full. I'm stop. And when your stomach starts shrinking anyway, right? That shrinks with everything else. But it's also that mental thing. Yeah, because how many times have we been full and still powered through the plate just because it was so good?
I mean, how many of us were raised at the time where what's on your plate, you got to finish what's on your plate. It's disrespectful. There's all these feelings,
right?
Dude, I think we're all from the generations
allowed to go make anything else.
No, right. I had to eat shit for breakfast because I didn't eat my dinner.
Right? Dude, don't even get me started. Last night's dinner for breakfast.
Yeah,
classic.
I've had pork chops and broccoli for breakfast.
Cold beans and or peas. Sorry. Oh,
my wife is adamant about that. So when we have kids over, and they don't eat what she makes, and they want nuggets, she just doesn't feed them.
Right.
And I'm like, honey, what's the point? They're gonna go back home and do whatever. Just I don't care. While they're here, they will eat right. I'm like, all right. Yeah.
I think it's important. I mean, I don't have kids, so I'm talking out of my ass here, but I think it's important to give them the experience to introduce foods to them, even if they don't like it, to say, look, try it. I'm not going to make you eat the whole thing, but at least give it a shot, because I think your palate does develop, as you learn taste buds as a kid, you will get an appreciation for foods that you otherwise turn your nose up at.
And to her testament, any child who's been there for a period of time, within a day, they're just eating what she makes. They trust the bond. So, I mean, to her testament, it does work, but they go back home and they go back to eating whatever the hell they want. It is what it is. I mean, I just, I'm glad my kids like nice food. They like good food. They don't like crap food. And for pretty much, they're not, I mean, here's the problem, especially Coop, you'll know this more than me, right? You're more staunch with your first kids.
Oh, yeah.
go down to the rest, you get a little more fatigued, a little more tired.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
The younger ones get away with a lot more shit than the older ones. So the younger ones may eat a little more shit and garbage, but the older two are pretty good. You know, what my middle daughter just like prefers salads everywhere we go. Did I have a salad? Eat a meal. No, I just want a salad. My son will eat anything like a locust, like literally anything.
Yeah, he eats that guy.
No, anything.
He's an eater.
What does happen though in my old age though, and it's really funny because when I first moved to Florida, I had the cigar shop. I was 26 years old, so most of my patrons were 45, 50. So you're hearing all this shit, and it's like we'd go out for Italian dinner, and one of our friends would take a pill so he could eat cheese and whatever. I'm like, what the fuck is this? So I'm not. I can't say I'm lactose intolerant. I can't say I'm dairy intolerant because I eat tons of cheese. But my body now, and it's funny, I've tried to ignore it.
Sound like my wife.
Longest. What?
You sound like my wife. She's got I call it an abusive relationship with cheese and dairy. She's really shouldn't eat it, but she doesn't stop her.
I'm all right with cheese and I'm all right with dairy. I had milk, but I don't drink a lot of milk. Maybe small quantities. Like if someone makes cookies, I'll have a glass of milk. When I was young, I used to drink milk by the gallons. So, but I've been ignoring it. And I think I just said to myself, I think maybe it was about a month ago, because what happened was I started going longer periods without having any. And then I'd see some like, oh yeah, let me have some. It's not that bad. And then I'll eat it. I'm like, fuck, why did I do that? I can't eat ice cream anymore.
So the good news is that first of all, the industry is recognized because like something like 18 or 20% of people of the general population is lactose intolerant. Like it's a huge number. And so, you can get regular normal milk that's just lactose free and it doesn't taste weird. And it's like, it doesn't have that weird texture. And same thing with ice cream. Like I just automatically now buy lactose free ice cream. Cause if I don't, my wife's like, give me your ice cream. And I'm like, oh my God, here we go. She's going to be sick. So, lactose free everything and it tastes the same. It doesn't, because for me, it's a texture thing. Like if you get some of those weird lactose free ice creams,
especially in cheese, like weird.
Yeah. Oh my God. The cheese is the worst. It's the worst.
But I don't know it's lactose because I eat other dairy products. I don't know. It's something that they specifically add to most ice creams that's throwing me off or something. Well,
it's cream, right? So it's like it's heavy fat, heavy lactose. Like ice cream is one of the worst things for lactose intolerance.
That could be it then.
Yeah. You can get straight. Go to the grocery store. You can get lactose free cheese now on the regular, and it's not that kind of weird. What the vegan cheese? Oh man, I know people like it.
Worst.
Oh, it's if the CIA want to get me to talk, they would just feed me lactose-free cheese, and I'd be like, "Look, whatever you want to know, I'll tell you. Just stop feeding me the lactose-free cheese."
My daughter,
vegan cheese.
My daughter was dairy intolerant, one of them, and we always had like vegan cheese, right? And then you'd be in the middle of making a good sandwich. You've laid your salami in layers. You got your fresh cribbed lettuce. You got your thinly sliced tomatoes. You've already sopped it up with some Dijonnaise and whatever. And then you go get the cheese and you start screaming because we're all out. All I got is that fucking vegan cheese my daughter eats. Man, you could fuck up a good sandwich with one of those.
Hard pass. It will ruin pizza for me. Like, because the weird thing is up here, we don't have, I know in the States you can get like lactose-free cheese is pretty standard at most pizza joints. And up here, for whatever reason, it is impossible for me to get a pizza with lactose-free cheese. And my wife and I we refuse. We'll actually get pizza without cheese just to put on actual lactose-free cheese so it doesn't have that weird texture to it.
John, that's tomato pie without the cheese.
I know.
Really?
Yeah, that's a Philly staple actually.
Philly thing.
Yeah, it's a Philly thing. Or you put the grated cheese on it. Some are really good.
Well, you put it on after.
No, they'll cook it sometimes with the grated cheese on it.
Right, just with the grated Parmesan. But
you're not eating the pie without any sort of cheese on it whatsoever.
You can get the tomato pies without any cheese, and if you get really good tomato gravy on that, it's really good. It's really good.
Dave likes a good tomato pie.
Yeah.
I don't see the point.
It's
tomato pie
when it's robust, the flavors are really good.
So You know what it's like. You know what it's like, and you probably didn't. You didn't growing up Italian, right? Usually weekend, Sunday morning,
tomato
Saturday
and bread.
morning. Yeah, exactly. You get
But then
that
it's
piece
tomato
of
and bread. It's not a fucking pizza.
Well, Craig the bread
it's
man.
tomato pie. It's not.
Yeah.
It's a pizza because of the shit, but it's tomato pie. Normally it's square too. Honestly, normally it's square tomato pie.
I saw Craig the bread man put up a couple of his pictures, and it looked
Craig
really
the
good.
bread man is a tomato pie guy.
Oh yeah, he's yep, exactly, yeah.
Yeah,
it just feels wrong, Cheese is such an
I'm with
integral
you.
part. I mean, I'll try it.
It's surprisingly really good, is what I will tell you.
Then I gotta try a tomato pie once.
You got to get we have to get you a really good one though, because if you gotta go to you're gonna be like at blah. You got to get a really good one.
I like Gary's
Alex,
comment.
Have you tried Patsy's yet?
I haven't tried Patsy's yet. No, actually, I keep forgetting about Patsy's.
Gotta get down there, man. I'm telling you, got to get down there.
Yeah,
but you are right, Coop. I think too many pizza places don't put the effort into having a good sauce, and it's as important as the crust. If you have bad crust, if you have bad sauce, it ruins the whole thing.
Well,
I agree.
Here's the way I look at it. Okay, a great crust could save a mediocre.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
But a great sauce does not save a shitty crust.
Agree.
That's true.
Agree. I do think the whole thing with the water in the crust in New York's overrated, because you can go up to Connecticut and there's some great pizza and they don't have the same water. So the water thing, I think, is kind of that's not the case, is what I'm saying.
It's Plume.
It's Plume. It's Plume. Exactly. Plume doesn't exist.
Plume is not real, folks.
But I will say, Coop, that those bagels we had in Manhattan, forget about it. That was life changing. That was special.
Essa bagel. Essa
bagel's great.
Essa bagel. Yeah.
Essa bagel's great. Listen, if you're down there next time, try Liberty Bagel too.
I have to try. I haven't tried that one. Yeah, I got to try that one.
Liberty
I mean, I was always a local bagel place in New York, like Uncle Bobby's Bagels. Was the place we'd go to in Brooklyn, pretty much. The local places, but the chains, I don't think will ever take over New York bagels, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, because they care about, they're not willing to sacrifice the.
Yeah.
I mean, they understand the quality and they can taste the difference, and so that's good. I mean, it's good that people have elevated their taste buds to say like, no, this is fast food, or
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty interesting, Coop. You say that too, because there's no chain cheesesteak places either.
There's no chain cheesesteak place.
There's a place that maybe has one or two locations, but there's no real chain cheesesteak places either. It's kind of held to the locals, kind of like New York bagels.
It absolutely is. I'm seeing the only one maybe that is a little bit of a chain, but it's a small chain. Well, a couple is Tony Luke's and
Tony Luke's
Chicken
tried
Pete's.
a little bit
Chicken Pete's. Yeah.
Chicken Pete's a little chainy, but I also, somebody says go get a cheesesteak. It's Chicky.
I'm not going to.
Yeah, it's not on my list unless you're at the airport. Yeah, go get one of Chicky and Pete's real quick. Not that they're bad, but it's more chainy.
Speaking of cheesesteaks, you know who's supposed to be having a phenomenal cheesesteak, and we tried to get down there, but the lines right now are just too long for this cheesesteak in New York. But you know who's got a really hot place now? In fact, he took his food truck and went down to the Super Bowl that year too.
Well, no, you're talking about what's his name? Not Ben.
Bradley Cooper.
Well, but here's why. It's because he's partnered with the guy Danny from Angelo's Cheesesteaks in Philly, which is the hottest cheesesteak.
There you go.
Portnoy crowned him the best cheesesteak in the city. Yeah, so the guy Danny from Angelo's and Bradley Cooper set up in New York.
So he knows the difference.
Have you seen, Alex, that Skinny Joey Merlino is starting the cheesesteak wars now? He's going head to head with some of the.
I did.
Yeah, he went after Pats this week. Yeah, he went after Pats this week. It was inevitable. Yeah.
What's happening?
We got some cheesesteak wars. The newest.
What does that mean?
Well, that means cheesesteak guys are kind of throwing shots. So new cheesesteak place opened up in Philadelphia. Very popular spot at the moment. It was opened up by allegedly the former mob boss of Philadelphia Mafia, Johnny. I'm
gonna be in Philly in October, so I need to.
All right. Yeah. So listen, we're gonna set you up right, Alex and I.
Yeah. So Joey's become an online personality, and he has no qualms, throwing shots, and
He's had his own cigar.
Isn't being a former mobster and being an online personality an oxymoron?
Not in 2025.
Right? Times have changed, right?
Yeah.
Right?
To his credit, he is the only. Crazily, there's a whole genre of mob people online. Most of them have cooperated with the government.
Alleged mafia.
Alleged mafia. Joey, on the other hand, is not one of those guys, which makes it even stranger. He's one of those guys that has never cooperated with the government and still.
He's had his own cigar. He's got his own cigar.
He's got his own cigar by Eric Espinosa.
And it's actually Alex brought me one back. It's a very good cigar. I got to say that.
Nice.
I have one.
Yeah.
I have one. There it is.
There it is. Yes.
Skinny Joe Merlino. Yeah, you know, guys doing things. It's a new
cigar,
age, man. It's a new age. Even in the underworld, Dave, it's a new age.
All right, so they're slinging shit at each other.
Yeah, they're slinging mud.
Is this guy? Is Tony's like cheesesteaks good? Does anybody talk about them yet?
Joey's cheesesteaks are good. I went when I was up. They were good.
They looked good. They looked really good in some of the videos I've watched.
No, they're good. They're good cheesesteaks. Yeah. He also has, and there's always been a cheesesteak place there throughout time, but his popularity will carry him. He's actually got the best spot. He's the closest real cheesesteak place to the stadium complexes.
Oh,
if
yeah.
You're going to the stadium, you're leaving as you want to get a cheesesteak, he's right there.
Yeah.
Right
yeah.
So he's, and I mean, it's packed. It's packed. It's good steak. I'd recommend amongst other places. I wouldn't say you have to just go to that one, but it's a good steak to try, good place.
Yeah.
What's the key ingredient? Is it the steak or is it the bread?
It's
like,
the bread.
It's the bread.
First and foremost, it's the bread.
It's the bread. That's where most cheesesteaks fail, yeah.
I got a question for all you cheesesteak heads. Soft bread or hard bread?
Hard. Has to be hard.
Hard. And that's what most
like a French loaf with the crusty exterior.
Nice crust with airy on the inside. Because the hard has to keep. The worst thing with a cheesesteak is when it starts coming out this side. Back of the roll. Yeah, it got to be hard.
I don't know if you had it, Alex, but literally one of my most favorite cheesesteaks. And honestly, if I go to this restaurant, fuck the pasta.
I know where you're going to go.
I'm going. I don't know if you've had it, but if you have
100%.
Oh, you've had
talking Mortarant. I'm assuming we're talking Mortarant.
Yes.
Yeah, but it's like $60 for a fucking cheesesteak.
I know. It's amazing.
Amazing. But it's like
fucking amazing, bro. It's like the best cheesesteak I've had.
I mean, honestly, the only, yes, it's the best cheesesteak in South Florida, without a doubt. But it's in a restaurant, so he doesn't really get the cheesesteak.
It's an appetizer. It's not even an entree.
Yeah, it's like a $50 appetizer on the menu. But it is delicious.
Disgustingly fucking good.
Mortarano's restaurant. It is top notch, but it's grossly expensive.
Hard bread, everything is gooey.
Yeah. I gotta have the hard bread.
I like it when the inside's all mixed in and gooey. I don't like when you gotta look for the cheese and the meat. You know, I mean, it defeats the purpose in my book.
Hard bread allows you to pack a good amount of meat in too.
Yeah,
and I'm not a whiz guy. I never got that. That doesn't fly with me. I don't care for whiz.
I don't mind whiz, but it's messy. I just
it's messy. You know,
it's one of those you literally got to eat standing, leaning over. It's coming out every direction. The whiz.
And when you have a cheesesteak, you don't want like gobs of cheese melted on it either. You want it melted in
thoroughly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the cheese almost becomes like a sauce.
It's like a glaze almost. Yeah, it should be like a glaze.
Yeah, I'm getting hungry too, Tim.
All this food talk.
So just don't go to any place that Terrence went to, pretty much, and you'll be fine.
Ooh,
this is why I predict will happen. Alex and I will give Abe some recommendations. He'll go there, but I guarantee you, Abe will find some diamond in the rough that we haven't heard of before. That's what I think is going to happen.
I like
you're good at that. You're good at that. That's not a knock.
You got to go to a city a couple times.
Yeah, yeah.
Last time I was in Philly was fucking with.
I would like Abe. I want to point Abe to Nick's roast beef. Is where I want to point Abe.
Yes,
just so I can get his take on a Nick's roast beef versus Chicago Italian beef, because it's close. It's same big.
I would agree.
Just so he can, because I've never had like a Chicago. I've never been to Chicago, so I've never had in a Chicago. Yeah,
there's some really good food.
If you're ever in Tampa, stop at Portillo's.
Portillo's is legitimately
on the West Coast. If you're on the West Coast, stop at Portillo's.
Or Tampa, Tampa. I think they're in Naples too. They may be.
Yeah. Yep. I definitely stop there, man. Check it out. So, like, this is what I'm talking about. See, like when you were young, this was like the best cheese on earth.
Right.
And then you get older and you realize what fucking kind of cheese doesn't need to be refrigerated.
Plastic. Tastes like
That's what I'm
plastic.
saying, and he can't eat it no more.
Velveeta
like
has
rubber.
one purpose: macaroni and cheese. There's no other use for a Velveeta. There's no other use for it.
You know, my mom used to do from scratch mac and cheese and like the old school, and so it was like baked, like double baked, and then she put the parma on top.
Is hard.
Yeah.
The top is hard.
Oh my god, dude, that's
you would love
legendary.
You would love my wife's mac and cheese.
Oh, love it.
Now,
I mean,
wife
it's
like 3 cheeses, but she does put cubes of Velveeta in there.
Right.
So listen, the Velveeta is it's the texture, the color. It gives it that yellowy color, and then you add all the other good cheeses.
That's what she does.
Velveeta is like the base of macaroni and cheese for sure. Mac and cheese, you need the base, that mushy texture. You know, melt a little rubber plastic in there. It's good.
Makes everything smooth going through.
You could probably patch a plane with that shit.
I just started episode 2 this morning. So
oh yeah, it's on my list. It's on my list.
Episode 2. I gotta tell you what, just from episode 1, I love this season already. Episode 1 was fucking great. So
did you guys ever work in the kitchen? You ever work like growing up? You ever work in the kitchen?
No, but I feel like one of my former lives I did. I don't know if anybody ever feels that way, but like I watch every cooking show. I love traveling, going to restaurants, but I even watch how they operate, you know? I feel like in maybe one of my former lives, I was involved in a restaurant or something because I'm very drawn to it, fascinated with it, watch it. So I haven't never worked in any kitchen, but totally feel like I have. It's a weird thing to explain. Yeah,
I did a little over a decade in kitchens and in a former life because I'm old now. But there was a scene in season 2. I'll try to avoid spoilers for people who haven't seen it. But basically, forgets to turn off the order system, and the whole kitchen just goes crazy. I had to turn the episode off twice because, honestly, straight up PTSD. It took me right back to the kitchen. I'm like, I got to turn this off. It's stressing me right out. Like I can feel like I'm right there with them. It was wild.
This is one of the hardest and most brutal businesses you could.
Hard pass. Sure.
And don't think I haven't thought about it at some point, but literally one of the hard. And I'm going to tell you what. Even in like retirement, maybe I joke about a burger joint, but I would never even think about it unless I was a cook or a chef at some point. Because otherwise, what are you doing?
Yeah, it's funny. I saw a pretty good quote. Actually a couple of days ago. It's interesting, and it was essentially a cook is somebody that can come to your house and cook you a great meal, right? That you love. A chef is somebody that can take 6 people, come to your house, and coordinate with those 6 people to cook 100 of that meal throughout the night. And it's a totally different skill.
Completely
different skill than just being able to cook good food.
The busiest the cigar shop ever was when I was managing it was a fraction of the stress level and the just insanity and nonsense that goes on in a restaurant. Like it's on a whole different level.
And especially when you're back at the house, there's not 8 hour. They're not 8 hour days, man.
No,
those guys are in the restaurant 10, 11 o'clock in the morning, and they're till final service at 10 p.m.
That's if they're just doing dinner.
Right.
10, 11 o'clock.
That's if it's just a dinner restaurant. Right.
My daughter started out of college managing a restaurant, and she hated it and got out.
Listen,
there's
somebody said this a long time ago. They said that there should be a form of service, kind of like when we were growing up, where everyone has to do like a couple of years in service. I honestly think it would be great for society if everyone spent 1 or 2 years working retail, working in a restaurant, some sort of service where you have to serve people. Holy God, would it give you a full appreciation for not being a dick, being a lot more patient, understanding just how painful some of these service jobs are, because I tell you, it changes your attitude towards that a lot.
Yeah, and it just makes you see things differently. Working in retail, working and having to manage. There's been like actually, I think it was the Old Navy in Wellington. One time I asked to talk to the manager just because I just wanted to tell her how great. Listen, Old Navy's usually a mess. It's one of those stores. And I asked for the manager. I said, I just want to tell you how great everything is, how nice this store is. As a manager, I know you get a lot of shit. I work in retail. I just want you to know you're doing great. This is like, I just felt the need to tell this lady, especially in an Old Navy. Shit's always it was so well put, everything was organized. I was like, as a person who works in the industry, you probably need to hear this credit. You don't get it much. So you just get an appreciation.
I kind of, by rule of thumb, unless you really wrong me to a deep level, will generally be more prone to stop and talk to somebody or a manager and tell them what a great job they're doing before.
Right. Something had to really go bad for me to be.
You're going to have fuck ups. It's almost kind of expected. And then I'm pretty sure that 99% of everybody else who experienced the fuck up is telling them they don't need to know that. But people don't stop to tell somebody when they're doing a great job.
True.
So I'll go my way
Right.
to tell somebody, man, you're doing a great job.
I've done that on airplanes with people. Like because they, people, flight attendants, they take a lot of crap too, or people working.
But let me tell you something. Some flight attendants are just fucking.
Some are bad.
Oh yeah.
We had one on our last flight. Oh my God, this guy was a POS. And like, I've had flight attendants. Like, I literally said to my wife, "You think they'd be insulted if I tried to tip them? They were fucking awesome." I mean, I just don't know. It's kind of uncustomarily to tip an air flight attendant, but she was amazing. But like this one guy, and that's the worst. Guy ruins your whole fucking flight.
Dad, you're stuck in a tube with him in the air. It ain't even like,
Right, yeah, you can't get out. Unless you're DB Cooper.
Anyways, we're going to break it here, folks. We're going to go to break. We got all more fun and everything coming up in hour number 2 of KMA Talk Radio. And once I get to the proper page, we'll take it there. Keep it lit, and we'll be right back. Some epic Honest Abe here with the GOAT to tell you about Smokin's Cigar of the Month Club. Alex, tell our fans out there why our club is the best darn club out there.
Absolutely.
I'll tell you why. Because every month I personally handpick 5 premium cigars. No filler, no fluff, no fugazis. These are all premium handmade name brands that you can find in any brick and mortar store in your area. All delivered to your door for $34.95. And our average monthly retail value since the inception of our club has been almost $57. Another great feature of our Cigar a Month Club, Alex, tell them about the ease of our Cigar of the Month Club. I'll tell you, I hate subscription services. It's always a pain to cancel them, turning them on. We've made it super simple. All you got to do is log into your account. There's a little green button there. If it's green, you're active. You want to take a break, you're going out of town, simply hit the button and you'll deactivate your membership. Want to turn it back on? The exact same easy process. You can turn it right back on. We've made it that easy for you. Another great feature is our Double Down Club. Alex, tell them about the Double Down Club. We had so many of our members reach out to us who really enjoyed our selections every month that they wanted to know there was a way they can get 2. And we've made that very simple. With a simple check mark, you can get double this great selections every month and save $10. Does our club have perks? Of course it has perks. You want to tell them about the perks? As a member of our club, every month there's a special discount code where if you like any of the selections, we will offer them to you, so you want to come and get some more, you can get them at a special discounted rate for our Cigar of the Month Club members. And finally, expedited shipping. Tell them how fast we get the stuff out, Alex. We get the stuff out on the 28th of every month. Our membership bills on the 28th, and we get every member's package out on the 28th if it's a shipping day. 5 great reasons on what makes Smoking Cigar of the Month Club the best club out there. Check it out. Peace. Hey, I really appreciate you doing the video with me. Thanks.
Oh, yeah, you're welcome. I mean, you didn't let me get a word in, but whatever.
What?
Yeah, well, great. It's perfect.
Welcome back to hour number 2 of KMA Talk Radio. As always, the KMA crew is here. My man, Alex Tavella, William the Scoop Cooper, and the surgeon from up north, John McTavish. So that was the green watch that I was talking about earlier. You saw the commercial, John, that will be given away.
Yes.
Yeah, so let me guess. They originally wanted the logo just above the center dial, and then Steve probably said, no, we got to move it because it's too big or it's in the wrong place or...
They wanted
too big is exactly right, was what Steve
wanted
didn't
the
want to pronounce.
logo in the 9th position because it had the most room. Because
right.
At the 6th position, you have the word astronaut, which is the line of watch, right? You have Accutron, the word astronaut. Steve did not like it in the 9th position. So,
listen, he's owned enough watches.
We wanted it in the 6th position, not too big, small, and it had to look like it wasn't something like that stood out on the watch. It was very
elegant.
Elegant, yes, that's what it is.
That skeleton, by the way, looks fed. If you like skeleton watches,
that skeleton is dynamite.
The electrostatic.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they only made 50 of those. I was really, really shocked that we got one of those to give away. So
yeah, I don't think the skeleton style is like it's even among watch guys. I think skeleton is kind of a bit of a niche thing. I love the look of a skeleton, but not a lot of guys. It's not super popular. It's nice.
For me, it depends on the watch. Some of them it's too much, but yeah, some are. So like that Accutron is really nice skeleton. I really like that one.
I like it in the purple band. Alex, I think said that band, or somebody said I would change the band, but I will keep that thing in purple.
Yeah, I'd probably change the band only because it just becomes harder to wear with the purple band, and I'd want to wear it more often.
Yeah, nice watch, and that'll be in the grand finale. If you haven't placed an order yet for the Summer of Soccer and you are a Dunbarton fan, a simple order of $200 in product not only gets you some neat swag, but it also automatically enters you for our monthly entries and the grand finale, which is about 130 plus prizes, about $30,000 worth of stuff that we will do at the end of Summer of Soccer, and that we'll be giving away that purple watch as the grand prize. So 4 watches during the course of Summer Soccer, not too shabby for a giveaway.
Not at all. Good job.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Yeah. Well, that being said, it's time for the team here and all our fans out there to test their musical acumen. Our man, Alex Tavella, is going to be testing our skills with our episode brought to you by the fine folks over at Avo Cigars. It's time to see if you can name that jam.
All right. This week, I have 5 sets of lyrics that I am going to be reading to you as mundanely as possible, and you guys will try to guess the song and band. All right, are we ready?
Yep.
All right, here we go. Number 1. You could have a steam train if you just lay down your tracks.
Dead. Grateful Dead. Casey Jones.
No. Incorrect.
No. This is Peter Gabriel.
Ooh,
Yes.
Peter Gabriel.
It's
we're getting somewhere.
it's
the song. It's the Peter Gabriel. Yes, correct. It's the Peter Gabriel song.
Yeah.
Coop, how did you not know that?
I know it.
Coop knew it. Coop
Coop
is
knew it.
letting you guys have some.
I know it. I'm not going to steal
autoplay.
it. You want me to steal it? I will. I mean, yeah.
Coop is letting you
Peter
guys have a
Gabriel,
little fun.
Sledgehammer.
That's right
Yeah,
in his wheelhouse.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's a great song.
All right. Number 2. I remember when I lost my mind.
See, I want to say Meatloaf, but that's not right. It's not Meatloaf. It's
Not
No,
right.
it doesn't ring a bell on any level.
it's
That's not enough words. It's just I remember.
It is. It's enough words.
It's
This
a
one I have
90s track.
I have no
again?
idea of this one.
I remember when. I remember when I lost my mind. All right, I'm going to help you. I remember when I lost my mind.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's what it is.
Du-du-du-du-du.
Yeah.
I mute you all.
I'm drawing a blank, but
I can hear it. I can hear it, but I can't.
Yeah,
find
it's
it.
playing in my brain. Yeah,
I am lost on this one.
That is Crazy by Gnarls Barkley.
there you go.
I would not have gotten that one yet.
You've definitely heard it.
You've
I
heard
knew
that
the song.
song.
Yeah, but
I
I've
know the
heard it, but
song,
the lyrics didn't resonate.
But the
Yeah,
life of me wouldn't be able to tell you the name or who sung it.
yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah.
All right. Moving on. Probably an easier one. Oh. Thunder only happens when it's raining.
Dreams, Fleetwood Mac.
Bingo. Cooper.
Nice.
He's back. All right. If I leave here tomorrow, would you still remember me?
Freebird, Leonard Skinner.
Freebird, Leonard
Yep,
Skinner.
yep.
What a great
We're
track.
rolling right along. All right, here we go. Last one. You say we've got nothing in common. No common ground to start from.
Oh, I don't know that one.
See,
You
I'm
say.
singing.
I know this one.
song. I'm singing a song that starts with "You Say," but it ain't that song.
I know this song. I just don't know the band or the name. But it was
Is it a woman?
no, it's a guy.
Band.
Yeah,
Japanese
it's
song?
It's a one-hit wonder thing too.
It's a band.
Dun, 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 dun. I have the melody in my head. I just don't know.
Coop, all you need is if you hit the chorus, you got it. If you hit the chorus,
Breakfast at Tiffany's. Right.
here we go.
But I
Here we
can't tell you the band. I can't tell you the band.
Here
It
we
was
go.
some one-hit wonder band.
Correct.
Why are you picking one hit wonder band?
Well, this was a big song.
He's got to throw a curve, otherwise Coop's going to nail it every time.
That's exactly what I was thinking of.
But this was a big hit song. I don't think this was a.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah,
of.
one of those tracks that only became
Lisa
popular
Loeb.
because of the movie.
Lisa Loeb.
So the band is actually Deep Blue something.
That's
It's not
was
Deep
a-
Blue Sea. It's
that was a big hit. That song too.
Deep Blue Sky.
Deep Breakfast at Tiffany's.
Yes. I got one more.
Okay.
Cooper, if you don't get it right away, you failed this.
Okay.
All right. Just put a little pressure on Cooper.
Of course.
And I find it kind of funny. I find it kind of sad that dreams in which I'm dying are the best. All right, Cooper's
Must be Mad World by Tears for Fears.
Oh, yeah,
Coop's the
of
Tears for
course.
Fears guy.
Tears for Fears King.
You know who's a bigger Tears for Fears expert? Or Nick and Nicholas Perdomo.
Really?
When I tell you, yeah, they are, yeah, Nicholas especially. Nicholas goes so deep into the portfolio.
Speaking of
You
which,
might as well break. You might as well break, Abe.
Yeah.
yeah, I didn't stand break. Now I got. Speaking of which, I can't remember the date. I got to look it up.
I think it's the 19th.
But we have Nick and Trey coming on our show. Let's see here in our chat.
19th. Yeah. 19th is
19th.
Saturday.
So, yep, it's 19th of July. Nick and
We'll
Trey
be joined
will
by
be
the Perdomo crew.
You'll have to give him some curveballs, Alex.
Oh yeah.
Well, let me tell you, you could put the most obscure ones, they will get it.
Wow.
You have to throw one in there for that week of Tears for Fears one. And the problem if it's too curveball, no one else will get it. I mean, that's the problem.
Right.
Yeah.
We'll do a few.
Yeah.
This episode was brought to you by the fine folks over at Avo Cigars, eloquently making music through time. And actually, I kind of like this episode. It's been a real nice staple of the show.
Yeah.
You know, I'm trying to see.
They do better listening on podcast than when I'm
Here we
live.
go. There's a name that damn. We'll just throw that in there a little bit for.
There you go. For Avo. We appreciate the long-running sponsor.
Fucking 100-year Avo's coming up.
Next year, we had a whole talk on that one last week. Yeah.
Is it really?
With Fred. It's a good talk. If you didn't catch you didn't catch last week's show, man. It was a
really good show. Yeah.
It was a really good show last week.
Was it?
Yeah.
Was it? You know what I'll do? I'll run that because we're not here next week for 4th of July weekend. I'll run that as for a best of for anybody.
Yeah, people should need to see that one. Yeah.
It was a really good show. It really was. It really was a good show. Other than that, what else is going on? Anybody else got anything going on?
My birthday on Monday.
Oh yeah.
How old are you now?
I'll be 43.
Yeah.
I think I'm still aging gracefully. I think.
Yeah, I think so.
I'm gonna tell you. Well, I shouldn't say this because some of my friends might be watching, but I didn't realize how well I aged until I went back to my high school.
Sometimes I'll do it.
Well, I went to school I went to a Catholic Irish high school, Notre Dame. So alcohol is heavy on the dietary content.
Right.
Alcohol will age you,
bro,
quicker than almost anything.
God.
I think only crystal meth will age you more than some alcohol.
I never felt like I looked or felt so young after seeing a lot of my ex-classmates. Oh, crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the things people don't realize too. Like alcohol for everything else, but it ain't nice to your skin either.
Alcohol is, I mean, I've been exposed to a few alcoholics, even guys in their 30s. Right. If I tell you I've ever seen anybody fuck somebody up physically in their appearance, it's alcoholism.
Yep.
It really does.
Can't really come back from it either.
Right.
Physically, anyways.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what, if it did to your face, what it did to your liver, a lot less, people would be drinking a lot less than they know.
Yeah, I always say I don't have a drinking problem. I have a buying problem. I've got like hundreds of bottles of single malt, but the problem is I've got an acquisition disorder problem because I try something, it's a limited one-off. I gotta own it because I know. You're
a collector.
And then you don't want to touch it.
I don't want to touch it.
Yeah, I bought 2 bottles. So McAllen was at this event, so everybody showed up for this event except the car people, the vintage or luxury car people didn't show up. We held like 14 parking spots for them. They didn't show up like 2 hours late.
Which is a nightmare. 14 parking spots, a lot of fucking.
It might have been 12, but still, it was a lot. It was it was the whole middle area right behind our shop, both sides. Right. So, anyways, McAllen was there. Man, they had this annual release. I forgot what it was called, man, but it was fucking fantastic. They make it once a year, so every year it's a little bit different, whatever. And it's blended barrels, so it's barrels that could be anywhere from 16 to 21 years old.
Right.
And it was fucking amazing. It was good. But
yeah, I like finding those.
And it's like, I'm like you. I was like, wow, we'll crack it open in a special occasion, and then the special occasion kind of comes, or you wait. But I'm just gonna fucking crack this fucker open.
There you go.
Yeah, I like finding those big distillery bottle like Macallan. If you find independent bottler, you'll find something that's like it tastes like Macallan, but it's a profile you've never had from their distillery before. And I love finding those bottles because you get that essence of what it is, but in a unique profile that you've never tasted before. And that's what ends up giving you an acquisition disorder. You're like, I gotta get these bottles because they're one and done.
So, I got some. I'm not a big booze guy. I mean, I'm not a big booze guy. I do have some watches. My wife sadly got me into frames. I used to have one pair of glasses. That's all I ever had, and I was happy with that. I was content with that. You only need one pair of glasses, and then she bought me for my birthday or something a really nice pair of frames, and now I got like 8. But Coop, are you a collector of anything?
Not really.
Cigars?
I mean, cigar. I don't really count cigars.
I'm a collector of cigars too, but that's my business. So I don't count.
Yeah,
those.
I am on an accessories kick lately of collecting accessories. I will say that. I'm driving my wife crazy with that.
Bro, I got a whole drawer. I'm gonna box it up and ship it to you. I got fucking shit from 35 years.
I'll take it. Yeah, I'm in on that.
I think I found 6 of the old Salvinellis, the really black cutters that were hexagon and square shaped back in the day. I think I gave them away to all the staff, but I'll keep you in mind. I got so much shit I find.
Oh, I'd be definitely in on that. Yeah. Like I said, I have a couple of old humidors which are not really used anymore. I'm putting the accessories in those now, just to have a place to store them in. And some of them I haven't used some of this stuff in a while. So, but yeah, I've kind of gotten more. This is in the last year this has happened for sure.
Alex, anything other than watches?
Yeah, so actually, I have a weird collection. I don't even know where I don't have them here right
swords and knives.
Well, I have that, but more so, I like to collect older books in their original languages.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Like I have a nice old double volume of War and Peace in Russian. Actually, our dear friend Don McKnight, when he came to the Great Smoke, he brought me a Way of the Samurai book from Japan in its original Japanese. So I like to do that. I even English books like I have a Pilgrim's Progress, but it's written in that King James style. You know what I mean? I like things in like the original.
That's cool.
The original language. Plus, they're always books were much nicer back in the day.
Yeah,
leather bound, and they just took books. Paperback is cool and convenient, but it almost takes away a little bit when you get a nice book, leather bound, leather covering. Books were a lot. That's all we had back in the day. So I get that, and even long before my time. But yeah, I like to collect books in their original language.
You said back in the day. I'm going to share a story with you, but I want to bring this up too. See, Gary, this is a great option because I used to be a sunglass guy too, so I'd have like 5-6 pairs. I collect sunglasses. But once you get into prescription, changes the fucking game.
Yep.
Now, not only you got to buy a
my lenses cost $400. Just the lenses.
Wait,
yeah, at least.
Okay. And now when you got 7 of them, what happens when your fucking prescription changes?
Yep.
Right.
Fuck me.
Now you can't wear half the glasses.
Yeah. You don't do it all at once.
2 at a time. Right.
Yeah.
Got to take out a personal loan. Yeah.
Right. But now your collection of 8 became a collection of 2 until you get the rest changed.
Yeah. It's fucking problematic. So
no, that's the problem when you need real prescription glasses. The damn lenses ain't cheap.
We're going to see how old people are now because I was talking with your wife yesterday, and I don't know, somehow my sleeping habits came up. We were talking about sleeping habits, and she was asking me, she's like, have you always been that way? I said, as far back as I can remember, I would stay home at night. I mean, I would sometimes get into a project. Like I remember doing this art class with clay and toothpicks, something, because we actually had art as a class in school required. And I started on it, and like around 10 o'clock, 10:30, my dad's like, hey, you going to bed? I'm like, yeah, I just need 15, 20 more minutes. And I just remember working through the night, finished it, just couldn't stop. So I remember doing it at a young age. And as I got older, it became like, well, I didn't study for my test, but it's the night before test, so I'm just going to stay up studying. And then I would do this thing because I'd study in the kitchen. This is going to be funny. If anybody's probably under 40, they're probably going to be like, what the fuck? But I remember studying in the kitchen, and we had a little TV up on there. And I loved it because after the primetime news and the late shows, it was all weird programming. So that's when I would catch the Three Stooges, Charlie Chaplin, Ollie and Stanley, all that old shit with
Dean Martin roasts and all that.
Here until about 2 a.m. Then they played the national anthem.
That's right.
The Stripes came on. There was no TV 24 hours a day.
Bedtime.
No, you had the test pattern that would come on.
Yep.
The Stripes.
Yeah.
Every channel stopped to play the national anthem. I can't remember, it was 2, 3, whatever time it was.
Yep.
Play the national anthem, and then the color lines would come down with the bottom half all black, and that's what you had on your TV.
When I was a kid, I wanted to watch that too.
And Marissa looked at me and said, "What?" I said, "Hey, you remember that?" It's like, no. I'm like, wow.
You know what I still find amazing? That it's 2025, and we still haven't figured out a better way to do a national emergency broadcast test besides completely disrupting the entire TV and having that blue screen blinking. We haven't figured out a better way to test this thing than we have to totally disrupt when I'm watching TV.
It's gone to the phones now more though too.
That's a mess as well.
I got news for you though. So it's like, so, and they better figure this out because I'm sure there's a lot of people like me, is I haven't watched regular broadcast television in 3 years.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't have it. So
yeah.
what you're just talking about, like, what the fuck's he talking about?
Right. And you know what? And it's funny because I just made the switch too. I just made the switch off of cable. Basically, all my live TV is through Hulu. But even when Hulu goes to commercial, they don't have to play the local commercials. They play
whatever their shit is.
The Hulu shit. Right. So you're right. If I'm the Hulu, great. You're taking over the TV broadcast, but most people are on streaming services. They're not getting. But like you said, that's why a lot of the transition has come to the phone.
Yeah.
I'm waiting
but
waiting to catch my dad wandering around town and get a silver alert. He's just wandering through the streets of Boynton Beach.
Is that what they call the silver alert?
Yeah, silver alert.
Did they really? I thought you were being funny.
No, yeah, silver alert. Absolutely. You got an elderly guy wandering around. Somebody come pick up Grandpa, please.
That's great.
Silver alert. Yeah.
Oh,
classic.
Wow.
You got amber alerts and silver alerts.
I didn't know. I never seen a silver alert.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow. All right, Coop. How are we looking on news today?
We have some stuff this week, so it's not a light week by any means.
All right, well, let's get you revved and started. It's time to find out this week what's going on with the Scoop with Coop.
Hey, yo, what's my theme music?
The Scoop with Coop. Breaking industry news. Hear it first on KMA Talk Radio and cigar-coop.com.
All right, Cooper.
All right, this is the one I want to kind of talk
Oh,
about.
you're going to start with the frying pan.
I want to start with the frying pan, yeah.
All right.
I want to just because I want to make the other stuff we can go through quicker. The Traveling Roadshow is back. The quote-unquote Traveling Roadshow, where basically, and there's no bus, by the way. I'll explain that. Oliva, Rocky Patel, Altidus, what did I just read? Oliva, Rocky Patel, Altidus, and CLE will be doing a series of events around the country at central locations. And the idea is to get retailers to come to these central locations. They're going to offer them deals. There's supposedly going to be food, drink, raffles. And when I say traveling, it is not a traveling roadshow. I want to make that very clear. It is a series of local events that they have branded a traveling roadshow. I've actually went to one of these last year, and I can give you some feedback on it. But I'm kind of curious, Abe.
I didn't go. They called us. There wasn't anything that was going to make us drive all the way to the West Coast.
Bingo.
It was completely pointless. But from what I heard feedback, and since you actually went, you could clarify more. I heard it was awful. I heard it was an epic failure.
Epic. Abe, here's the thing, and you said this a few weeks ago. If you're not going to make this a can't-miss event, don't do it, okay? Don't do it, in my opinion. And this was just so – and I heard some of them were better attended than others, right? But this was there was no reason to go to this, is what I'm saying. There was no energy at these events.
So here's my theory.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know about the energy.
Yeah.
At this point, I can only talk about ethics, right? So here's my theory on, and this is like, I don't know, no inside information. I don't know. But if I could guess, because I'm good at anticipating where things go wrong. If I could just guess on where they're making a mistake, it would be this. I'm sure in their minds, they're saying we need to go and do these things where our big accounts are at. Those are the people that are probably least likely to come to your fucking roadshow, to be honest with you. Okay.
Yes.
Usually order enough at the PCA.
Yeah.
We usually make our own deals every day.
Right.
You don't need that. If I was them, I'd be concentrating on small to mid-level aggressive guys growing. Right. And where is there a cluster of these stores where a lot of these guys don't go to the PCA because they can't get them out, and we'll bring the PCA to them, probably be more effective. Now, will they do same amount of numbers? Maybe. You never know. But I think long term will be more effective for those guys and helping those mid to small guys grow. So I don't know if that's what they're doing, but I wasn't going to Tampa. What am I going to drive 4.5 hours for across the state for what? Yeah. And then if I recall correctly, and I could be mistaken on this, like they weren't telling anybody what the deals were. Oh, So you want me to drive me and some staff and stay at a hotel or whatever and come back and I don't even know what I'm going for? Yeah, I'll take a hard pass.
Yeah, like I said, and then the other thing is it's for retailers only. Now they had 2 days in Charlotte last year. There's only about 12 to 15 retailers in Charlotte. I don't know what you're thinking about having 2 days for this, right? This year they're moving the Charlotte event to a brewery, which that's a little better. But again, you only have 12 to 15 things. I contend they needed to put a consumer component in with each of these. Have the retail piece and then have a consumer piece.
Is there a list of the cities they are hitting?
Yes. It's on the Coop site. It is on the Coop site. Yep.
I'm sorry. I was looking at it's exclusive to retailers?
Yes.
It's like a PCA show. They're doing a traveling PCA show.
Now they're having it at the Hard Rock in they say Fort Lauderdale, but that's actually a little I think it's closer to Miami.
It's Hollywood. Hard Rock's in Hollywood.
Hollywood's in Hollywood, yeah. But yeah, it's only retailers that they're having at this.
No, I didn't hear it because I got sidetracked with Alex. There's a list of the cities. Is it the same cities as last year?
They've changed a few, I believe.
Because I don't think they were at the Hard Rock last year for sure.
Yeah,
I was going to say, wait, this happened at the Hard Rock last year?
No, they didn't. It was in Tampa. The Hard Rock, I just may go.
They're in Tampa. They're
at the Hard Rock.
Yeah.
It's a good restaurant.
Right, make a night at the Hard Rock.
That's what I may do.
We'll wind up in the Daffodil House.
Yeah, so I know they're trying to do it more at central, better locations this time around. So they're in Chicago, actually, on the 4th. So, and I heard a few of these did well. Okay, I heard the Boston one did well. I heard the Dallas one did well.
I don't know. It just seems like a lot of use of resources, time, and energy for a very unfruitful game.
Yeah, how exciting is a buy 10 get 2? Like that's
this industry. I hate to say it, they accept mediocrity sometimes when it comes to events, and every event's a great event. It can't all be a great event. When you have mediocre events, that's not great, in my opinion. That's failure. That's failure.
I'm going to tell you something. Alex hasn't known me that long. I was the first retailer that I know of. Okay. Definitely down here in Florida. I can't speak for the whole country, but that I know of where I made store events of production. Now, I'm going back 20, 25 years, right? So we had no bars. We were a simple cigar shop, but we had complimentary liquor, or we would make drinks, cocktails, it could be margarita this time, it could be punch next time or whatever, but we had complimentary drinks. I would cater it. I would bring it in. I would bring in live in music. And I'm telling you, for a long time, almost 10 years, I would do events starting in September, when it got a little cooler. And we would go September to maybe April, latest May, but typically April. And I would have one event a month in Coop. I shit you not. Minimum 200 people each event. Minimum.
Right.
4. And it became like a big show. They were coming from Miami. But what happened is the popularity of my events started going. Everybody kind of started following formats. Obviously, some unsuccessful, some doing it better. And they were bringing in food and they were bringing in liquor. And so what used to be something that everybody looked forward to once a month was happening like every other week somewhere, So I could tell you outright, in the last 10 to 15 years, store events are dead as far as in my...
They become so mediocre, some of these events.
And that's why we don't do them anymore.
Yeah.
Because it got to the point where it was embarrassing for me. I felt embarrassed for the retailer, the manufacturer who took his time. Yeah, and no matter what we did, and I'm going to tell you something, it began, I think, outside of like a major thing, I think the Little Big Delicious, the original release, it happened right around when we opened up Boynton Beach. Okay. I think it was one of our first events. It was a very, very successful event. But I don't know if it has anything to do with it. But the minute I opened up stores with bars, my store events just died.
It's a different vibe. Yeah, it's a different vibe.
Slow decline, and
it is a different vibe. But also, I think specific to us, one of our problems is these guys are too accessible. Right. Like, listen, Eric might be at the store on a Tuesday randomly. Terrence Riley may be there Wednesday. Somebody else may be there Thursday. So it's not like other places. They may see Eric Espinoza once a year. They may see Terrence Riley once a year. he may be. Terrence is sometimes at the shop twice a week, so it almost takes away some of the excitement of, we're doing an Ag and Orsa event, but Terrence was here hanging out with us.
Listen to me. Not only are they just accessible at our shop, they're accessible everywhere.
Right. Yeah. They're more accessible, which makes
and kind of what happened. Listen, that's what happened with KMA, right? When I started this show, 15 years ago almost, nobody had a chance to hear Carlito talk unless you saw him somewhere. No one had a chance to hear Nick Perdomo talk. So when we were getting guests, it was always interesting. And, during COVID, all of a sudden, everybody was doing everything. So, great. Terrence came on my show. You were just on 4 other podcasts this week.
Right. Traveling Roadshow.
What do my people want to hear from you? There's nothing more to talk about. So now we don't have guests.
Right.
And we don't have manufacturer guests unless there's something relevant, prevalent, new to the industry. Like we're having Nick and Trey to talk about Legacy, which is probably a milestone release in their company. So unless there's just some relevancy to it, we don't have guests anymore. But you have to adapt, right? I can't keep this is the whole point of what you were saying, Coop. I can't keep forcing vents in my stores.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I just can't keep going down the path when I know it's not that great. It's not doing that great. It's not that receptive. You have to balk. You have to change. And you know it, and all our fans know it is. We've just gotten better at doing online promotions and online events and communicating with people all over the country instead of trying to do something for our local few hundred people.
Well, let me just to get back to this roadshow. So essentially, it's a retailer exclusive. It's almost like a mini PCA type thing, right?
That's what it started.
That's what they.
So they're doing it at the Hard Rock, right? Well, I'm just saying for this, they're doing it at the Hard Rock. I don't know how big of a production this thing is, but you're doing it at the Hard Rock means you're spending some money.
Big money.
If we look at it in reality, a lot of people don't realize this, but let's look at like South Florida. Okay, it's a retailer only event. You got Smoke Inn. You got Monte Cristo, which is a part of the event, so take them out.
Right.
You got Neptune. You got Ozzy that owns Galliano and Tabacon.
Yep.
You got the Empire guys, Ryan Leeds and them. Then maybe add 3 or 4 more retail in Miami. Who else is coming with buying power to a thing like that?
This is what I'm seeing in Charlotte.
Like they're expecting like a Jeff. They're expecting Jeff to come down from Orlando.
Not happening.
Not happening. Right.
You know what I mean? Like how many retailers realistically in South Florida? How many retailers with any kind of buying power are? There's couples, a handful. Realistically, if you take away Monte Cristo and Boca, there's not really cigar shops besides. Well, you got Strikes, who's a one-off, whatever. It's essentially Smoke Inn in South Florida. That is. I mean, I just don't know how many retailers with like buying power that want to come to this thing to spend big money or even available in this area. If it's unless like you said, you're expecting guys like Jeff and guys from North.
I know, but you're talking about people at a large level. I think there's a lot of people like Aromas and that mid.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. But how many is that? 3 or 4?
But no, here's a lot. They're spoiled here in Florida, bro. You have a lot of options here in Florida, way more than most parts of the country.
But who are coming to buy? But who are coming to buy 10 for twos?
But this
that's what I'm asking.
I think that's the people they need to cater to. Like this would be a good region here. Actually, you could probably get if you really made it worth it. You could probably get yourself 30, 40, 50 mid-tier levels if you centralize right and make it nice. And
mid-tier,
they'll be prone to come because a lot of those guys don't find the value in going to the trade show. They're not spending hundreds of $1,000s to make it worth it, right? Because if you ain't look, let me just put this in perspective. If you are a mid-level shop, small to mid-level, right? And I'm flying out there, say I go solo. So I'm not taking any staff members, which I've done back in the day. And I'm going solo. Just between the flight and the hotel and whatever miscellaneous expenses I'm in for a few $1,000s, right?
Yep.
Right. You're basically in for a good inventory buy. It's going to cost you $2,000. You're basically in.
A small guy, $2,000 to $3,000 may eat up half the savings.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's like so. This is $3,000-$4,000 that I now can't purchase cigars with. That it would be a good buy for me, $4,000. That you're a small level shop that I'm spending just to get there.
But you got to leave your shop now.
Yeah,
and that's tougher for the small.
A lot of these small medium guys, they're built around the guy.
If this was focused better, I think it could be more effective to them because the guys they're probably looking to hopefully come. Like they called me 3 times. I'm not going.
Why are they even calling you? That's because they can't get people to commit to it. That's
I'm based on I talked with Nish last year afterwards. I'm a little surprised they attempted it again.
I know that. Yeah, I listen.
Surprised.
You listen. I could tell you the foods that I saw at the event. Like, it wasn't bad food, but it was like Panera, and it was hidden in the back. It wasn't like wasn't like this great spread or anything like that. It's not. They didn't know. If you don't know the deals, I didn't know if they knew the deals or not in advance. But if they don't know the deals, I just don't see any point of this.
That's a good point too.
Yeah, if you don't know the deals on this, I just think they could do this and make it, like I said, if you want to have a early session for the retailers to do some buying, and then you open this up to the consumers.
You gotta have consumers.
You do 12 locations, and you have the principals there.
Yep.
You can make this. You can make it work. I just think they're doing this the wrong way. And
very possibly.
Yep.
All right, what else we got?
There's only one person in the comments defending this, by the way. So.
Well, of course it's.
Yeah. All right, let's go on to some other stuff here.
I don't think here's where he just talks out his ass. I bet you PCA years 1 through 5 retailers were called.
Sure they were. Yeah.
There is not
compared to over 50, an 80-year-old organization.
Yeah.
There is not 50 mid-sized retailers in South Florida. There's just not. I don't know what you consider mid-size.
Well, mid-size, no. Small to mid-size, easy.
Small,
yeah. But then the economics don't work, right? Because
there's 20 to 30 small to retail just in Palm Beach County.
Yeah.
Small, little one. No, that's not a mid-size retail. You know what those guys are ordering? 3 boxes at a time.
Exactly.
No, but they're not.
You're not getting a $10,000 order out of them.
Yeah.
I know, but you got spoiled, Alex. 3 boxes at a time is a mid-size, depending on what you're buying. I mean, that's.
I understand, but again, but here's what I'm saying. Now, when I go back to what this damn production costs, I got guys showing up to buy 3 boxes.
Well, they're not buying 3 boxes, but they'll buy. If it's a new SKU or something, I'll try 3 boxes of it to start. I'll try. I mean, I used to do 3. I used to do 2 sometimes, even to bring something in new. That's how.
Yep.
And I was mid-sized for a long time. I mean, a different psychology. Your psychology changes as you grow, and a lot of them aren't there yet, but they do good volume over the years. So for them, they'd rather keep the money in the bank and order 2 to 3 boxes every fucking 2 weeks or every week.
10 and get the
order the 20 and say, I'm fucking done ordering for this for the month.
Yep.
But they're doing the same volume. That's the part that you're not seeing, that some of those guys, even though they're small, they're not like us. They're literally getting an order every week for all the companies because they don't want to tie up money. But
then some of them ain't. Some of them are getting those same orders once a month.
Some of them ain't. Those are the ones that die or fail eventually, because they're just too afraid to buy.
Yep. Regional trade shows don't work. You can put that on the clip.
Has it worked in any industry?
I don't think it works well. At least in this industry, I don't. I couldn't tell you in other industries, they don't work. And for all the reasons we were just talking about, regional trade shows don't work.
It's not 2005 anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I hope that's on the clip, actually, until I can get yelled at by people.
There you go. We'll clip that up.
All right. All right. Let's go. We got some other news. Crown Heads announced the new Las Calaveras for 2025. Dave Burke and I on the music show every year try to guess the color of the packaging. We got in the last 2 years, but we got this one wrong. It's Mexican green. That's because they're using a Mexican wrapper on this one. It's a Mexican San Andreas, Colorado wrapper.
Shocker.
Yep. Right. So, but I'll say this: when they used Mexican last time, it was one of the best Las Calaveras I had.
It was. Yeah. Yep. It was a standout.
Yep. So it's going to be in 3 regular production sizes: a 5x52, 6x54, 5x56, and then you can get a sampler, which I love what they do every year. And they're going to put a 6.5x40 Petite Lancero in the sampler with the other 3 sizes.
Smart.
So
I like starting to see a lot of this new this Claro Mexican. Starting to see a lot of that now.
Yep.
Same thing. Isn't the Olmec, right? Is the Olmec?
The Olmec's got a Claro. They got both. Yeah.
They got both. Right.
Yep. Yeah. If you're into pricing, $14.25 to $16.25 for the cigars, and if you want the sampler, $57.95.
That's about right.
Yep. So you got your wrapper binder filler with that one. The next one is, if you're a Black Label Trading Company fan, they have a new cigar called Aleto coming out. It's a Connecticut broadleaf release that I believe has already started to hit the stores, by the way.
If anybody PMs me, it's already in transit. Should be up early next week.
Yep, I know Ben smoked it already. In our
I already got a couple messages about it. It'll be up early next week.
Yeah, boys go hard, man. Yeah,
they do. And like I said, James is doing it right in terms. I think he's figured out how to do these small batch limiteds right. Connecticut broadleaf wrapper release, Habano binder, Nicaraguan filler, three sizes: short, Robusto, Corona Gorda, and Toro. So, and like I said, they did this cigar for the 10-year anniversary of the factory.
Right.
The name Aletto means the chosen one, and James chose, I guess, this blend to be the 10-year anniversary factory release.
You know what I like about them? Like you said, he does it right. He does his limited right, but he still doesn't abandon his core brands.
Right.
Like
he's been building his core brands. Yeah, he's been building those core brands nicely. Yeah.
I feel like the company we previously mentioned lives and dies by their limiteds at this point. I mean, I'm just saying. So you're. Yeah. Abe, you're unmuted. Mute yourself. I feel like, I mean, I'm just going to say it. I feel like Crown Heads lives and dies by their limiteds at this point.
Right. Yeah, I think with Black Label, the production is just enough to get you interested. And then, it's one and done, but it's not a one and done where you're like, it's another limited. I'm not that interested. You try it, it's going to be good. He's consistent at making them, must buy releases. And so, it's not like, oh, look, another limited from Black Label, whatever.
Right.
They're good cigars.
Another limited in a run of limiteds.
Right.
Do I sound better now?
You're good. Yeah.
Yeah, you do.
Oh, I just realized I've been talking through, even though it's been lit up, I've been talking through the computer mic the whole show.
Oh, is that why when you muted it didn't?
Yeah, I muted. I'm like, how do you hear me? I'm like, I get the wrong mic hooked up.
Your mic wasn't bad today. Yeah, so that.
Oh, there you go. Especially being outdoors.
I was going to say, it must not be that windy. You're nice.
Yep.
The nook.
Or the 7:30 a.m. landscapers that come roaming around.
Yeah, I told my guys don't come till 12.
What the fuck is with that?
I have the same problem here, actually. Yep.
Saturday. I mean, you want to come during the week? That's fine. You want to stroll in?
I use a private guy, and it's on his schedule, and I just asked him to come a little later. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I did. Told him come which probably sucks for them. Believe me, those guys want to get that shit done at 8 a.m. They don't want to be in the noon heat.
No problem. Just do the neighbor down the block first.
Right. That's what I say. Yeah, go do them, and come here.
Yeah.
Yep.
What else you got, Coop?
Liga Privada, Drew Estate's going to be releasing their Liga Privada DuPont collection. It is a biometric humidor that comes with a cigar cutter, DuPont cigar cutter with that stand, the Line 2 lighter. But now they've added another option for retailers to get, because when they were showing us at the show, there wasn't an option for cigars in it. Now you have the option to get cigars with it if you're a retailer. You'll be able to order the Savage Feast cigar, which is the Jonathan Drew exclusive cigar, and they're going to include 20 of those cigars.
Are people still trying to hunt those down?
I believe so.
Really?
I mean, there's a Drew Estate component to that.
I got a bunch of Savage Feasts. PM me, order a box. I'll send you one.
I was gonna say,
boom! KMA special.
Oh, you just open the floodgates.
Yeah, it's not included with it as a retail. You have the option to buy these. Okay, so that's the point I want to make. So I don't know what they're going to do with them. They come in the 2-count coffins and stuff. I don't know what other cigar you would put in there though. If you would Drew Estate, that's the whole thing.
Yeah, it has to be unique enough to justify, the humidor, right? And I think if you can get a cigar that wouldn't otherwise be available, that's going to be a key selling point.
Yep.
I would think.
Yep.
Where have you been, pal? I've reached out to you on 2 different platforms.
Vince Benetti's back. Good to see him alive.
I know. I was a little worried about him. When you don't have that, like, when you have that constant chaos and noise in the background, all of a sudden it just disappears, and you're like, whoa.
We see that happen a lot.
I got like a void in my life.
Yeah.
No one was throwing smart ass comments at me for a while. Good to see you back, Vince.
Yep.
What else?
Last story we covered already. That is the release of the McAuliffe Soft Box Press Blue and Red. So I think we hit that one already. And that is a smoke-in exclusive. Now, I got a question for you guys on this and the black. Are these limited one and dones, or
no? It's gonna be regular production for us. It's not
okay. So then, they're not microblends. Okay, that's good.
No, it's gonna be an ongoing project. And look, when black was such a hit, and we have a really good relationship with those people. Great, amazing people.
Yes.
Alex and I talked about it right away. He's like, look, we got to get him, make us something in this line. And we did. And it took like a year to get that black. I mean, over a year. It took a long time for that black. And it was very successful. And, we talked to them, and we wanted to just do our size, that 10-count box press Toro in every one of the color series. So that will be an ongoing offering from Smoke In regularly throughout the year.
So purple, I assume, is something that we'll
Purple's in the works, and will arrive sometime maybe this year.
Okay.
Nice.
So that's good. That's good. And that's the news for this week. There's some good news this week, I thought. So.
And there you have it, everybody. Please check out our dear friend's site for any news, always rumor and teaser free at cigar-coop.com. There it is, right below.
Boom.
Boom.
We need to come up with a new topic, man.
New topic for for Tale of Tape. Yeah, so yeah, we're gonna announce it the week after July 4th. Is that what we're gonna do? So we got between now and before the week show after the week of July 4th. So we're fielding, as long as it's anybody but from Juan can't sell. We're fielding ideas. We're fielding ideas. So PM us, post it, tag one of us, your ideas for Tale of the Tape season 12. Don, you have any suggestions?
Oh yeah. I'm gonna respectfully PM you quietly a couple ideas I got baking, but I'm not gonna blow up your phone or anything.
I got two from one of our listeners, Mitchell Santada. He said top 10 athletes or top 10 bands. So top 10 athletes or top 10 musical bands.
I think we might have to narrow athletes down a little bit.
I mean, you got to kind of.
We've done kind of boxers and wrestlers. That's how it's all started, was boxing.
Yeah.
How about top 10 unconventional action movie stars?
Like, what's that?
What's an unconventional?
Like the guy from Nobody. The guy from Nobody.
Yeah. For example, right? So not your Schwarzeneggers, not your Van Dammes, right? Like your. I
don't know. I forget the actor's name, but the guy from Better Call Saul. He does that CIA movie, Nobody, which is I like it. They're releasing the second version now.
Quietly, transitioned into being.
I don't know.
Action
There's
movie
that many of them though.
Ooh,
I don't know.
Problem.
What about
uncommon
top musicians in movies?
Oh, there you go.
Well, that's a good one. That's a really good one.
Is there a field of more than 10 you could think of?
Probably. I mean, think about it. You got Prince, Purple Rain. You got Sting was in Dune. I mean,
There's been a lot of movies.
Yeah.
I mean, you can. That's one. It's one.
David Bowie.
Yeah. That's what I mean.
It's possible. It's possible. It's kind of different.
See how deep the field is.
See how deep the field goes.
I mean,
and still send your ideas. Yeah.
Still send your ideas. Yeah. Yeah.
That could be a field.
Best American cities.
It's too hard,
Alan.
though.
That's actually not a bad one from Alan.
Unless you're traveling or been to a lot of cities, what are you judging it on based on what you've read? Or it's hard. It's hard.
Even bands too. Do you narrow bands down? Is it rock bands? Is it old bands? Do we go all the way?
Well,
One-Hit Wonders.
Is the Wu-Tang Clan considered a band? Because
didn't we do female singers or something? I remember you near.
We did Heartthrobs.
Heartthrobs, which I went like.
Oh, you went music
industry. I did like hip hop, R&B.
Yeah. I mean, we could moms. I think we should say for next year around Mother's Day. I think we should TV moms next year.
TV moms.
Nice.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
I like TV moms. That's a great one.
Yeah, but I think we should maybe time that closer to Mother's Day next year.
Yeah, we just did. I agree. We just did dads.
Yeah.
Mother's Day next year.
That's definitely one to keep on the brain.
I know Aaron Gray. Well, I don't know if she counts as a mom. She really wasn't a mom. Nah. Aaron Gray was in Silver Spoons, but she wasn't really a mom. She was like the assistant.
She became a mom. She became the mom.
Okay, yeah, it's true.
She became like a stepmom.
Fucking Dallas Fort Worth goes to the top of my list.
What?
Top shitty airports.
Denver? Oh yeah, you hate Dallas Fort Worth.
Listen, from what I understand,
that's not a bad list. That's not a bad idea.
I think. From what I understand, if you live in Texas and fly in and out of Dallas Fort Worth, it's not as bad. But I'm telling you, if you got a connecting flight going to Dallas Fort Worth, there's an 80% chance you're fucked.
Miami's the same way. Miami's the same way, in my opinion. Good airport.
Yeah, you better be landing in Miami, not connecting through Miami.
Yeah. That's why I usually go directly to Miami by car a lot of times.
I try to skip connecting flights at all costs.
It's harder in Charlotte. It's harder in Charlotte to do that, unfortunately.
I would rather take a connecting flight than fly out of Fort Lauderdale or Miami. Would you rather fly out of Fort Lauderdale direct?
Oh yeah, I'd rather fly out of Fort Lauderdale. Miami, then Fort Lauderdale. I'll drive. I'll keep my car there.
Yeah, if we can get direct, I always try to. Like when we went to Italy, we couldn't get direct. When I went to Dubai, I couldn't get direct. It's it's unfortunately where I live is the problem.
Yeah, I can tell you, coming from west to east, it's connecting flights it's tough. That's why the New Orleans thing has been challenging for me because it's a gong show trying to find a proper connecting flight that doesn't burn my entire day.
John gives like a great, like in our private chat with the group, a blow by blow of his travel from like when he does these flights. It's like epic, is what I'll just say.
I mean, I get up at 6. Well, first flight's at 6 or 7 a.m. and I just know the whole day is just going to be a thing every single time.
If you guys are going to send us suggestions, just try to consider, is the field deep? Like I can only name 3 kind of hot dogs, right? 4 maybe.
It gets obscure.
What do you name it after you go from a Chicago dog and a dirty water dog? What else is it?
Yeah, char dog,
Carolina. We have a Carolina. We have a
Carolina
dog.
It's not that deep. I would struggle to get to 10. That's the problem.
Yeah.
And everybody knows that Chicago style is the best.
It's hard to beat it. Hard to beat it.
We should jump. We actually have quite a thought-provoking.
Oh, we do.
By
we
Pedro
do.
This week. Little different than the normal Pedro.
All right. Well, in our normal closing fashion, sponsored by the fine folks over at Drew Estate, it's that time to find out, would you rather?
All right, here we go, Pedro.
Nope,
I got it.
Sorry.
Would you rather have a dinner with your past self or your future self?
Fuck that past self. Don't even have to think about it.
Really?
No, I disagree. Well, here's the question.
I'm not sure I understand the question.
Here's the question. Does it can it affect
my past
self? Okay. So then no. So then I think that question becomes a little different, right? Because you really got to think about it, right? You really got to think about where your life is and the trajectory of your life.
Tell me what's the advantage?
So let me ask you a question. So you say past right away. Why?
Right away. Because here's the problem. Your future self telling you shit, right, then creates a future you don't know. Anyway.
Oh, I see what the question is now.
There's less advantages there, right? Because now he's going to tell me all the shit I shouldn't do, but he doesn't know all the shit that happens because I don't do that shit either. It could put me in a worse situation. I've read a lot of time travel books, so this is something that I've kind of been in depth thought about previously.
Me too.
Right? So it's all done. But going back to my past self, right? There's a definitive motherfucker. Buy this stock. When this tech goes up, don't do this.
Yeah,
But here's
now,
the question.
I don't know what outcomes.
So there's the big why I say don't jump. What if those outcomes lead you to never have Asher? You know what I'm saying? What if because I made these decisions put me in a different place at a different time?
Then I say you go to fucking South Florida in '96.
Yeah,
meet your fucking
wife.
wife.
But is past you gonna listen to future?
The guys tell me I got to go meet this lady. No, I'm a fucking stock, and next thing I know, I'm a billionaire, single fucking guy. You know, it could change everything. One small thing can change the trajectory of everything. So I still have to consider that.
I still say I go to the past. Future is less helpful. All he could tell me is what he went through. So either I could do the same or avoid doing it without any advantages of it.
So
go ahead. I mean, for me, I'm going future because I can be. Look, I don't think the risk is worth the reward. Going back, anything I could change me from having my 2 sons, which is there's no avenue where I see that as becoming worth where I am now. Future, it's not as advantageous, but there's also pitfalls in my life that I don't know about that maybe I can avoid because my future self told me I made this decision.
I think it just depends on a personal thing. Because like if there's something monumental that happened in your past that you want to avoid no matter what, I think you go in the past. You can still go in the future and your future guy could tell you, hey, next year, Bitcoin's going to quadruple in price. Put all your money in Bitcoin, So I guess there are some still advantages of going to the future.
Right.
I changed my answer.
You going to the future?
You know why?
Why?
Because if I go in the past, that's his life. Fuck him. I don't know him. If I go see my future self, that affects the life I'm living.
Right.
That's kind of where I was going with this. Like, if I wanted to do the past self, I could reminisce about some cool memories and stuff. But I could do that with people I know. Future is going to give me a whole different perspective on what, you know. I'd be really intrigued to see, you know, what that gap between now and then. So I'm definitely in the future camp on this one.
Yeah, listen, your past self can't tell you. Listen, when it hits 2009, go buy that thing, that stupid thing called Bitcoin that you think is.
This is a great thing here.
Right,
but that's reality.
That's reality.
Yeah, I know, but if you don't know and you say, well, how far in the future you want to go? All right, I'm going to go 20 years, and you find out you were
right.
dead.
What if your future self is like a guy shows up, you're like, where are you from? I'm from July 15th. You're like, what do you mean you're from? Well, by August we ain't here no more.
If I'm doing it 30 years from now, it's a skeleton. I'm gonna have less of a problem than if it's like 5 years from now. So,
right.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, but I mean, then you have no conversation. You wasted your one trip. You know,
True.
I mean,
True. But then at least I know my time is only so limited.
But then you don't know when.
You don't know when, right?
Did you
It's a break-even proposition. It's a break-even proposition.
Hey, everybody, golf clap for Pedro.
Yeah, it was well done. Very thought-provoking.
Nice golf to get a little clap for Pedro. Well done, sir. Yeah. Well done. Probably one of the better, and one I haven't heard. Would you rather?
That's what we look for in the lottery either. Yeah.
Very nice. Nicely done. Well, it's that time, everyone. It brings our 2-hour episode to a close. We hope you all had fun. Thank you for joining us this Saturday morning and sharing a cigar with all of us here. John, thank you very much for coming on and being a guest. And we'll see you again more in the future. I promise you. Everybody have a great weekend. Until next week, keep it lit.